You're watching Let the Quran Speak, and we are answering your questions. If you have a question, visit our website, QuranSpeaks.com. Dr. Shabir, the question is, some scholars view chess as haram because they believe it can lead to gambling or distract from religious duties. Others see it as permissible, provided it does not interfere with one's obligations and is played responsibly. It helps me in increasing my IQ and getting better grades. Is it okay for me to play it?
The question seems to be coming from a young person who is still in school.
Yes.
Well, I don't know that much about to what extent playing chess increases one's IQ and leads to better grades. I'm sure it does both things, but to what extent, I don't know. Some people have even said that playing chess helps them with military strategy, but I doubt that very much. But nonetheless, when we think about things, whether they are permissible or impermissible, Sophia, in general, we have to see, first of all, what does the Quran say about the issue? And then we see what is mentioned in authentic narratives traced back to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's only God who, by virtue of being our creator, has the right to legislate things for us, to prohibit us from enjoyment. And unless he said clearly, don't do that, then, basically we have permission to do things. And the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has authority from God to give us some details of our religion. So some things which are not clearly spelled out in the Quran may be explained to us by our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So he has that authority from God. But beyond that, other human beings cannot make things up and say, okay, this is prohibited, or even to say that something is lawful. But as a general rule, we can say that things in our religion are considered to be permissible unless there is a reason for deeming it to be impermissible. So it's like innocent until proven guilty, right? So the things are innocent until proven guilty. They're halal until they're proven to be haram, unless there are some reasonable grounds for considering them to be haram or impermissible. So what would be reasonable grounds? Reasonable ground would be, number one, if something is clearly mentioned against it in the Quran. Number two, if something is clearly mentioned by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, against it. Number three, if the human intellect, clearly, considers this to be reprehensible. And among human beings, some might think something to be reprehensible. Somebody else may think, no, it's okay. Then it falls into a category of what is called makruh tanzihi. It is detestable for some people, but not necessarily for some others. Mostly it's considered to be of this category when it is detestable to the scholars, but not necessarily to the lay people. Or rather, it is something that should be avoided by the scholars, but not necessarily by the lay people. With this broad sort of introduction, let's see where does chess fit.
So you mentioned not in the Quran.
Yeah. So, okay.
So
we covered
Hadith?
that already, right? The Quran doesn't mention anything about chess. There are some narratives in Hadith about chess, but it seems that this comes from a misunderstanding because chess as we know it today probably did not exist among the Arabs at the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Maybe it was in other societies in Persia and elsewhere. And so it is unlikely that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said anything about this. Now, Ibn Hazm, one of our great scholars from the Middle Ages, wrote a book, Al-Muhalla, in which he devoted a section to the question of chess and musical instruments. And he deemed that there is no narrative that is authentic from the Prophet, peace be upon him, against these two items. Someone has translated that portion of the Muhalla into an English translation. It's a very thin booklet available online from booksellers. So one who is interested might read that further. So the conclusion is that, from his humble writing, is that chess cannot be said to be prohibited because, again, we don't have anything authentic from the Prophet, peace be upon him, prohibiting it.
Going back to this hadith then that you mentioned. So if it's not referring to chess, then what was it referring to?
Well, it could be some other game that people have just simply translated as chess. Now, the Arabic word for chess is shatranj, and I'm not sure that that's the word that was used in that hadith. But in any case, the conclusion is firm that there is no authentic narrative from the Prophet, peace be upon him, that clearly mentions chess as a prohibited game. Now, of course, when something is permissible, it doesn't mean that we go all overboard with it, right? Even, a dessert would be deemed halal and permissible, but is it good for you and to what quantity? So if you're diabetic, don't eat too much sweet stuff, right? That's a given. But it might be fine for somebody else who's not diabetic, right? So we cannot make a one rule for all. But even if you're not diabetic, don't go overboard with it, because too much of it may not be good for you. A little bit good and enjoyable, too much not good. So with chess as well, don't go overboard with it. Now with chess, it's very easy to go overboard with it because chess involves so many combinations that one can get lost in studying all the combinations. You can get a whole book just describing the opening moves and all of the possible combinations in the opening moves. And of course,
people study all these moves.
People study that, right? It takes a lot of time to study and then a lot of time to play it as well, because you're thinking through all of the possibilities. But this is where the growth of intelligence comes in, because if one is using one's brain to, in an abstract way, contemplate all these possibilities, if I move here, then my opponent will have 5 possible good choices. And of these 5 possible good choices, if he chooses A, B, C, or D, how might my responses be? And my responses could also be A, B, C, D, and E for each one of his choices. So that gives me 25 different possibilities to contemplate. So to think all of these moves ahead, and this is where people get the impression of thinking moves ahead of your enemy, right? You're thinking moves ahead. To think of all of this in advance would definitely have a good impact on your own intelligence. So there's some good aspects of it and some bad aspects of it. One has to use the good of it and shun the bad, and we cannot make blanket generalizations for all people.
Interesting answer, Dr. Shabir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiya and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.